So, hi everybody. I'm here with Michelle. Michelle, tell us what the name of your company is.
Lynn Michelle Weddings and Events.
So, events. You do repasses.
We do all types of events, every facet event from special events to, of course, weddings. Unfortunately, we have had to assist people in repass events as well.
So, give us one tip about a venue for repass.
Um, so when you're doing a repass, of course, most people prefer to go into a venue setting for it. I would suggest when you're reaching out to venues that you ask them if they have a special rate for people that are doing repasses. Most venues do, believe it or not, because it's short notice. They know that funds, people are scrambling to get funds in order. So, in many instances, a venue will offer a special rate for a repass.
Okay. And that's probably because they're during the week and during the daytime too. What about if the venue does catering or not?
So, what I'm learning that as I'm reaching out to events, event venues, a lot of times they don't do catering for special events like weddings. These are some of the smaller event venues. I'm talking maybe 100 people type events, but these particular events, spaces, they don't necessarily do catering traditionally. However, I'm finding that a lot of them do catering for repasses. So, again, surprising, they don't offer catering as a service for their traditional business, but for repasses, they do in some instances offer a catering service as well. So, and that could be at a discounted rate if at all possible, if you can have a venue do it so that it's as turnkey as possible, you should consider it.
That's a good thought and a good plan for most people because food is one thing that is not at top of mind when somebody passes. But anyway, um, you mentioned something about the family needing a ride back from the venue.
So yeah, so this is really things that people should consider when they're going through planning services, planning repasses. A lot of times, the immediate family, they're in limos for the services, and then those cars take them over to the repass site, and then people are kind of scrambling to get immediate family members back to where they need to be. A lot of funeral homes, they will, especially, honestly, good funeral homes, they will make this a topic. But as you're thinking about repass, as you're thinking about services that day, make sure that you've accounted for the immediate family getting back to their respective locations after all the services happen that day so that they're not scrambling. Make sure, if you can plan for that ahead of time.
So we talked about, and this happened to me last week as a real estate agent. I was showing a commercial property, and it was across the street from a church,
Mm-hmm.
and my car got locked in the church parking lot.
Wow. So one of the things that that I did mention is that when you're at the church or at the location for the actual service, and then a lot of times people consolidate, they carpool over to the interment site. They leave their vehicles over at the church or the funeral home or wherever. So in some instances, I've even seen those vehicles being locked up and you not having access to those. So, if at all possible, don't leave your vehicle. If you do, be mindful of it. And before you head to the repass, go back and get your vehicle so that you can ensure that it's not locked behind a gate and that you have access to it.
That makes sense. Also, what about if a person is a church member, or should the church provide support, or do they always?
Absolutely. So, many churches, if you will, especially if you're a member of a church, you that literally should be one of the first calls that you make. You of course want your pastor and the ministerial staff to know that you're that you've suffered a loss and want to know if there is some support in place for that. And 99.9% of the time there is. From a repass standpoint, because that's what we're talking about in this moment. And then even the services, a lot of times your church that you're a member of will send support staff to help usher the services. They will send staff over to the repass site to help serve food and just make sure the family and the guests are accommodated. So yes, definitely reach out to your church to see what type of support they would provide at a time like this.
That's a good information. And if anybody wanted to get a hold of you,
If anyone wanted to get a hold of me, again, Lynn Michelle Weddings and Events. I'm Michelle. I can be reached at 947-216-6634. Again, I'm Michelle. I can be reached at 947-216-6634.
thank you.
Thank you.